It begins so quietly that you almost convince yourself you're imagining things. The way his smile hangs a little too long when she speaks, or the way her laugh sparkles brighter when his eyes catch hers. You tell yourself it's nothing. After all, this is your best friend, the one who knows the quirks of your handwriting. The silly way you hum off key in the car. And him, your husband, the man whose socks you still fold and match, even though he never notices. They are safe, familiar, entwined in your everyday, and yet you notice. At dinner one evening, he tells a story you've heard before, something about a mistake at work and the way he managed to spin it into success. You already know the punchline, but you play along, offering the expected smile. Then you see it, her eyes flick to his before he even delivers the ending, as if she already knows it too. You try to brush it aside, but the detail clings. How would she know? Unless he's told her separately. Unless they share small private conversations you weren't part of. The meal continues with laughter, with clinking forks, and the faint hum of a neighbor's television through the wall. And still, you find yourself staring at her lavender mug, the one she always brings over, chipped at the rim. You remember buying it with her years ago? A little thrift shop tucked between a bakery and a bookstore. She had tapped it against your arm and said, "Asterisk, this one feels like me." Back then, you laughed. Now you're not so sure. Later that night, you lie beside him in bed. His breathing slows, heavy with sleep, while your mind refuses to settle. You watch the ceiling shadows shifting, chasing the thought like a moth to a flame. What if you're wrong? What if it's just friendship, comfort, the ease of two people who know each other through you? You want to believe that, to wrap yourself in the reassurance of it. But another part of you whispers that sometimes comfort has sharper edges than honesty. You roll onto your side, the cool sheet brushing your leg, and try to remember when you first felt the doubt. Was it the way she texted him about a recipe instead of you? Or the time he left the room to answer a call and came back with a face he couldn't quite hide? You still wonder if you've simply collected fragments, building a story out of shadows. In the morning, you push it away again. You make coffee, tapping the spoon against the cup, just like always. He kisses the top of your head as he heads out the door. She sends a cheerful message in your group chat, a picture of her cat curled in the sun. The world keeps turning ordinary and relentless, and you tell yourself it's better not to stir it. Better to hold on to the routines that keep you steady. The lavender mug, the evening shows, the way he always asks if you need anything from the store. But deep down, you already know. You can feel the quiet shift, like a song that has gone slightly out of tune. And once you've heard it, you can't pretend it isn't there. You start noticing the little cracks, the places where comfort no longer feels seamless. It happens in the middle of a Tuesday, of all things. You're stirring soup on the stove, humming a tune that doesn't quite match the rhythm of the spoon. He walks in, phone in hand, grinning at something on the screen. The grin fades when he sees you watching, replaced quickly with a practiced half smile. He sets the phone down face down, just far enough away from you. You stir slowly, letting the steam rise, and say nothing. Because if you ask, it makes the suspicion real. If you keep silent, maybe it will stay just a thought, not a truth. Later, she comes by, as she often does. The sound of her knock is always the same. 2 quick taps, then one softer. She carries a little box of pastries, her way of filling gaps in the day with sweetness. You watch the way her eyes dart toward the counter where his phone sits, the brief flicker she doesn't quite hide. You imagine she sees the same screen you did a moment ago when you weren't supposed to. Still, the evening unfolds in familiar comfort. You sit together, laughing at a silly show, sipping tea. She taps her mug absently, always 3 times, like a rhythm she doesn't realize she keeps. He chuckles at a scene, but his gaze lingers on her face instead of the television. You wonder if they even notice how visible it is to you. And yet, you don't confront. You let it slide, because that's what you've always done. You were the peacemaker in your circle, the one who smoothed things over, who filled silence with gentle words. You tell yourself it's better to hold the peace, even if it feels a little heavier each time. One night, the three of you are in the kitchen together. She leans over to reach for the salt, brushing past him, and there's that pause. That half second too long where bodies are too close. You feel it in your chest, a jolt you try to swallow down with a sip of water. The glass is cool, but your throat feels dry. The memory follows you into sleep, or rather, into the space where sleep refuses to come. You lie in bed, watching him scroll, his face lit by blue light. You remember the days when he used to share things with you, funny memes, random thoughts, half-formed dreams whispered in the dark. Now you're the one watching the back of his phone instead. You still wonder if it's you who's changed, if maybe you stopped asking, stopped reaching across the bed for those tiny connections, but then you think of her voice on the other end of his laugh, the way she knows how he takes his coffee, 2 sugars, a splash of cream, without needing to ask. You wonder when she learned that, and whether you were in the room when it happened. And still, you smile when you see her. You share secrets about your week, laugh about the same people at work, exchange recipes you'll probably never try. Because she is your best friend, and there's a comfort in that bond that feels impossible to untangle, even with suspicion coiled underneath it. One evening, she leaves her scarf behind, soft blue, faintly scented with her vanilla lotion. You hold it for a moment before setting it aside, telling yourself it means nothing, just forgetfulness. Still, when you see him glance at it later, there's a softness in his eyes that isn't meant for you. That night, you wrap yourself in the blanket and listen to the hum of the fan, trying to steady your breathing. You picture the scarf on the chair, the way her laughter lingers in the corners of the room long after she's gone. You can't shake the thought. Maybe the house remembers her more than it remembers you. The days blur into each other. Laughter, silences, familiar routines that now feel strained. You still try to hold on to the warmth of what once was. The morning coffee, the shared shows, the ordinary habits that keep life stitched together. But the stitches are loosening thread by thread. And somewhere deep down, you begin to realize comfort isn't the same as trust. It happens gently, almost shyly, as if the truth is embarrassed to show itself. You find it late at night, in the quiet space when the world has slowed and you should already be asleep. His phone buzzes against the nightstand, the vibration small but insistent. You glance over. He's in the shower, humming faintly through the door. The screen lights up, one message. Her name. Your heart stutters, though you don't touch the phone. You just stare at the glow, the way it seems to burn into the darkness. You can almost hear her voice reading the words, soft and teasing. By the time he steps back into the room, towel slung across his shoulders, you've already closed your eyes, pretending sleep. His movements are careful, deliberate, and, without looking that he's picked up the phone and read the message. You don't need proof. You feel the silence in the air, the weight of it pressing down on you. The next day, you find her scarf again. Not on the chair where she'd left it before, but folded neatly on top of his dresser. Your breath catches. You reach out, fingers brushing the fabric, still carrying that faint vanilla scent. You can't explain why it's there, not without weaving the threads you've tried so hard to ignore. You place it back down and step away, as though touching it too long might burn. The ache sits quietly inside you. It isn't loud, isn't violent, it's soft, like a bruise that deepens with every small press. You still smile at them both, still pour tea into her lavender mug, still fold his socks. But every gesture feels heavy, like you're performing in a play where everyone else already knows the ending. That evening, you sit together watching a film. She laughs at a line, head tipping toward his shoulder before she catches herself. You feel the air thicken. He glances at you, quick and sharp, as if to check whether you noticed. You pretend not to, your eyes fixed on the screen. The scene blurs. You don't remember what the movie was even about. Later, when she's gone and the dishes are stacked haphazardly in the sink, he touches your hand in that absent way he used to. And for a fleeting second, you let yourself lean into it, pretending it's still the same, that the warmth is still yours. But you can't unknow what you know. The scarf, the message, the glances, they're stitched into the fabric of your days now. Lying in bed, you wonder if this is what betrayal feels like, not the dramatic breaking, not the storm and fury, but the quiet erosion of certainty. You turn on your side, staring at the familiar shadows on the wall. You still wonder if it was love you built together, or just the comfort of someone being there, someone filling the spaces beside you. In the days that follow, you find yourself searching for details you once overlooked. The way she caps her mug 3 times, always the same. The way his smile lingers longer when she's in the room. Even the pauses in conversation, those brief silences filled not with awkwardness, but with something else, something charged. And still, you don't speak it aloud, because naming it would mean breaking everything. Naming it would mean stepping out of the dream, even if the dream has already started to fade. So you keep moving gently through the days. You make coffee in the morning, humming that off-key tune. You answer her messages, share stories, laugh at the ordinary silliness you've always shared. And in quiet moments, you let the ache roll over you, like waves you know you can't hold back. The truth is here now, soft but uncheckable. And you carry it quietly, pressing it against your heart like something fragile and dangerous at once. The unraveling doesn't come in a rush. It slips in softly, thread by thread, until you can almost see yourself standing outside your own life, watching it loosen. You move through mornings with a practiced smile, pouring his coffee, answering her cheerful calls. But inside you're tracing the outline of something breaking. One afternoon, she stops by with that familiar rhythm of knocks. You open the door, and she's glowing, wind in her hair, cheeks touched with color. She holds a bag of fresh bread from the bakery down the street. You thank her, but your hands tremble as you place it on the counter, because you've started noticing how she saves the best pieces of herself for him, the softest smiles, the quicker wit, the stories told in a brighter tone. You wonder when you stopped being the one she wanted to impress. He comes in from the other room, and the air shifts. You see it in the subtle way his shoulders ease, the quick lift at the corner of his mouth. They chat effortlessly, laughter bouncing between them, while you linger at the edge of the conversation. You laugh too, but the sound feels distant, like it belongs to someone else. Later, when she's gone, the house feels different. You walk past the chair where she sat, still carrying the faint trace of her perfume, that vanilla warmth that lingers longer than it should. You pick up her empty lavender mug, noticing again the tiny chip at the rim. You hold it a little too tightly before setting it down in the sink. That night, lying beside him, you replay the years. The first time he looked at you with those steady eyes, the nervous laughter when he proposed, his hands slightly clammy, the long road trips with windows rolled down, music blasting, your voices cracking as you sang along. You remember the silly fights, the shared victories, the quiet mornings when love was unspoken but sure. And then you remember her, the way she sat beside you on the grass in college, telling you secrets between bites of cheap sandwiches. The nights you cried in her arms over other heartbreaks, the times she promised she'd never betray you. Her presence has always been a constant, a safe place you never thought to question. Now you can't separate the two, the husband who was once your anchor and the friend who was once your safe harbor. Together they form a weight that presses on your chest, leaving you wondering which betrayal cuts deeper. In the kitchen, you find yourself staring at the scarf again. It's draped casually over a chair this time, as though it belongs here now. You touch the fabric, softer than memory should allow, and a thought whispers through you. Maybe you're holding on to ghosts, trying to keep alive what's already slipping through your fingers. Still, you don't confront. You don't demand answers. Instead, you breathe in the silence, letting it fill the spaces where words should be. Because you know that once spoken, the truth can't be unspoken. And maybe in some way, you're not ready to let go of the dream, even if it's already fading. Days blur into weeks. You laugh when expected, nod when needed, hold on to the fragile balance of routines. But inside, you're unraveling gently, piece by piece. You find yourself questioning whether the love you shared was ever enough, whether it was built on something lasting or just the comfort of not being alone. Sometimes, in the quiet of the night, you wonder what life would be like if you chose stillness over suspicion, peace over proof. You still wonder if letting go would free you or break you entirely. The days eventually stretch into a kind of quiet you didn't expect. The storm of suspicion has settled into a soft hum, a background weight you carry gently. You move through mornings with the same routines, coffee, breakfast, laughter that still tastes a little hollow. But there's a new rhythm now, one you've begun to shape yourself. You watch them together less critically, noticing details without judgment, and in that observation you find a strange calm. One evening, you fold laundry while soft music drifts from the living room. He's reading on the couch, and she's sitting cross-legged near the window, sketching in a notebook. Their conversation is low, punctuated by quiet laughter. You pause, folding a towel, and notice how he tilts his head when she talks, how her eyes light up with excitement. It stings, yes, but not as sharply as before. You realize the ache has softened into a quiet ache, the kind that lets you breathe again. You still carry the scarf, now folded neatly in a drawer. It's not about possession anymore, not about proof. It's a memory, a whisper of what was and what shifted. Sometimes you pick it up, let the fabric slide through your fingers, and remember the small joys that once defined your closeness. You can smile at them without bitterness, letting the warmth linger just a moment before you return it to its place. The nights are gentler now. You lie in bed, tracing the patterns on the ceiling, feeling the rise and fall of your own chest. His hand rests near yours, familiar but not intrusive. You think about the past years, the quiet moments you shared, the laughter, the tears, the dreams whispered in the dark. And you wonder if love is always a quiet tug between holding on and letting go. Evenings stretch long and slow. You let yourself enjoy the small rituals, the soft hum of the fan, the taste of tea that's just warm enough, the dim light brushing the walls. You remember her laughter and his smile without the sting that once followed. It becomes a meditation, a steady rhythm of acceptance. You still feel the weight of betrayal, yes, but it no longer defines the space. You imagine the days ahead, soft and uncertain, filled with ordinary routines that carry extraordinary resilience. You sip tea, trace the rim of your mug, and allow yourself to drift, not into anger or longing, but into understanding. Peace doesn't erase the past, it simply teaches you to rest alongside it. And in the quiet, you find that the ache has transformed. It's no longer sharp, no longer pressing. It's the memory of love, the echo of friendship, the whisper of life's complicated beauty. You let it fold into the evening, carrying it softly as you close your eyes. Now, as the night draws longer, you let every thought soften, each memory slowing its pace. You imagine the air around you, cool and gentle, brushing softly against your skin, carrying the faintest scent of lavender and evening breeze. Every sound, every hum from the fan or distant street becomes part of a rhythm that lulls the mind and body toward calm. You trace the edges of your day in your thoughts, noticing how each small act, each smile and sigh has shaped your journey without demanding urgency. There's no need to untangle every feeling tonight. Allow them to float like clouds, shifting shapes but always passing. You recognize the ache, the tenderness, and the gentle disappointments without letting them weigh too heavily. The memories of laughter, of closeness, of quiet routines fold neatly beside the realizations that came softly without drama. They coexist, balanced and gentle, like waves that meet the shore and retreat. Take a slow breath in and let it out with a sigh. Feel your body pressing into the bed, your muscles releasing tension, your heart settling into its natural rhythm. The mind can wander, drift, explore the shadows, yet you are safe here, cocooned in this quiet space between wakefulness and sleep. Allow yourself to imagine tomorrow as a soft continuation of this peace, a place where love, memory, and gentle acceptance coexist. Let the day's anxieties melt into the background hum, leaving only warmth, familiarity, and the calm certainty of rest. And as your eyes grow heavy, remember that even in life's unexpected turns, you carry within you the ability to breathe, to release, and to find quiet. Let it guide you softly as sleep embraces you,